And here we have the Sony BE-V8 in pieces on the workbench. And just wanted to do some servicing in here and found a belt. This is on the underside of the mechanism. There is one belt, and the original one that was in here was quite loose, as you can see, relatively big. And so I replaced it. I mean, the original belt was still working, but I guess it would have failed within the next years. So new one is much more tight in there. And then there is this belt. This is another one of these gear type belts. So that's not going to cause us any trouble anytime soon, I hope. So we turn a thing around, you can see the upper side of the mechanism, and through the cassette compartment, through the door, a lot of dust has gotten into the mechanism over the years, so I'll be blowing that out with a compressor, because this also stinks of smoker, so that's not good. These are 4 tape guides that this has. I will have to clean those up, and I'll also clean this. This is the erase head. As you can see, there are no wires connected to it. It's really just a little primitive permanent magnet that's erasing the tapes. That kind of surprised me. I thought they would have put some sort of an electric erase head in here, but apparently they thought that the permanent magnet was going to be enough. Other than that, I guess nothing too terribly special in here. This is not a Sony camcorder mechanism. This is, I guess you can kind of tell by all those plastic parts in here, this mechanism has been simplified quite a bit. Making some progress, I cleaned the dust and dirt out of the unit, cleaned those 4 tape guides and the permanent magnet erase head, lubricated the motor, and here's an interesting thing. This back part, as you can see, it just comes clean off. No wires. Just take out 2 screws on the bottom. This is what contains the battery compartment, some passive circuitry with a power switch and DC input jack, and power is transferred into the main unit via these springs. So, I don't know, maybe it would have been possible to get a different back panel for this that maybe would have featured a compartment for a rechargeable battery pack like they used for the camcorders. Who knows? Well, this is kind of interesting. The springs in the back panel will push that away from the main unit, so you won't get any reliable contact until you put a record player belt around the whole thing. Now I can reliably power this. I can show you how this works. Put in our Video8 cassette. You push it in, the tape itself is being exposed. Nothing else happens until you push one of the buttons, rewind or fast forward. Let's push fast forward. Interestingly, the tape is being pulled out of the cassette a little bit. Of course, if you would have hit the erase button, this would make a 90-degree turn, then it would touch the tape to erase it, obviously. And that's how that works. That's rewind. The motor does change directions. And notice how the optical sensor worked. The sensor is down here. It's a little infrared thing right there. You have seen the transparent leader tape came out of the cartridge, and that was when the unit stopped and spit out the tape again. So it does not even go all the way to the end of the cassette. It will stop before it reaches the end, thanks to the optical sensor. And I guess that is a feature that only this Sony unit has, and I guess the cheaper ones would have just rewound the tape until it reaches the end, and that would have been it. The main unit has been reassembled, and as you can see, there is the battery compartment sitting all by itself, and there we have the contacts for those springs right there. Both this video and this stupid thing right here are slowly but surely turning into a bit of a nightmare. I have recorded 30 minutes of video, and I guess 2/3 of that are going to be just junk, just failed takes. Because this thing just wouldn't work properly. I had it all assembled and it just wouldn't work. It shut off at random moments and I couldn't engage the record mode and so on and so forth. So I had to pull it all apart again. And once again, thanks to the magic of non-linear video editing, we'll put this into a bit of a nicer order. So I pulled this all apart again and replaced the belt that I had replaced previously with a much thicker one, so that should be a bit more solid. But the transfer of motion from the motor into the mechanism didn't really seem to be the problem. It would just, as I said, it would shut off at random moments, and of course the tape was running kind of slow, so I couldn't really tell, is it running too slow or what? In the end, I think what may have happened, there are these, the tape motion sensors right there, D106. The leads of that component were just way too long, and I noticed two of those leads seem to short out against each other. So I shortened those and removed the short, and that seems to have fixed the problem, knock on wood. I also had to clean switches. I cleaned this switch right there. That is that tells when when the door is closed. I had to clean the tape in sensor right there, as that was incredibly filthy. And then as for the erase mode, that didn't work. I tried cleaning the switch, that didn't do it. That didn't fix it. I resoldered the switch, that didn't fix it. I shorted out the switch, that didn't fix it. So obviously it's got to be something else, and I guess what it is these micro switches right there that are probably impossible to clean. I think they're just not making proper contact, and of course you can't get any contact spray into this thing because it's all sealed. You can't, well, maybe you're able to get it out, but I guess what I'm just going to do is, if I can't get this out, if I can't fix it, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to short it out. So there is no more record or erase protection in this thing anymore. Oh well, who cares? And here we have that stupid micro switch, and of course it's all sealed, no chance you're going to fix that. And when I tried to put it back in, I broke this stupid mounting post so it wouldn't hold on properly anymore. So I just ripped out the whole entire thing and bridged it straight on the circuit board. Right there, that blob of solder. Also took out the circuit board to inspect that stupid motion sensor. It's a little infrared diode with a sensor at the side of it, and as you can see, the supply reel just has this changing pattern of black and reflective segments on it. I'm not sure if we can get that. Well, I guess you can see it good enough. There it is. And so I cleaned up that sensor, but I think there has got to be something else wrong in this. This thing is running way too slow, and I don't know. I tested it with two different cassettes, the stupid Scotch and then the Sony. They're both not running properly in this. And it's not like they were hard to turn or anything. It's just something with the transfer of motion is just not right in this stupid thing. For about 2 hours I've now been messing around with this silly thing, and I think I may have finally found the problem. This motor is bad. Now as you can see, this the pulley has quite a bit of a play up and down, and if you well, obviously if it's in the unit like it normally is, it'll be in the lowest position due to gravity. If you push it up, if you push it in, it suddenly starts running faster. So there is something wrong with this motor. So I'll have to investigate that a little bit. Continuing this crazy video, it's the next day, and after thinking about the whole situation a little more, as you can see, I took the thing apart again. And, well, I took the motor out, and I was able to do that because I found a screwdriver small enough to get out this the screw that's in this pulley. This is a crazy small screw. Requires a crazy small screwdriver. I mean, look at that. That's absolutely insane. It's like a millimeter or so. But anyway, I guess a mistake that I made was when I lubricated the motor, I initially used the wrong type of oil. A penetrating oil, I think you call it, that just goes anywhere. And I even used it straight out of the spray can, which really you shouldn't do. So probably the oil went into the motor and is now causing bad contacts in the commutator. So, you know, I thought this thing, it ain't gonna work the way it is right now, so we can either fix it if we fix the motor, or, you know, if we break the motor trying to fix it, it's not gonna make a difference. So let me go ahead and see if I can take this thing apart. And there we have the motor all taken apart and cleaned up. This, in case you wonder, is the stator, just two magnets on either side, as you can see. That is the rotor, and this, in combination with that part right there, is the commutator. You can see that is quite scratched up, but look at all the crap that I cleaned off of that. So I guess that may have been the problem, actually. So let me put this back together and let's see if it still works. Have it all drowned in contact spray at the moment, so hopefully it's gonna work. You can't really see it, but you can definitely hear it. The motor still works. And it seems like we fixed it. At least the speed doesn't change anymore if we move it around. So, yeah, it's quite noisy, but I ain't going to be putting any more oil into that thing at all. Oh no. Well, let me go ahead and put this back together, and maybe it now works. Finally, the damn thing works. Look at that. This is actually the third time of fast forwarding and then rewinding this tape, and haven't had any problems at all, and it is of course running much faster. Now, in case you wonder why there is so much circuitry in this thing, I mean, there is a circuit board up front, there is a circuit board down below that you can't really see right now, and then a circuit board in the back. Well, first of all, we got this nice blinky on the front. And then the motor actually runs at variable speeds, and we have seen the movement detector, the optical sensor for the supply reel. And what that does is not only does it control the you know, if the tape is working fine or if it's getting jammed up. Also, it is a sensor for the circuitry in the back, and that's going to run the motor at variable speeds. So if this thing starts running very fast, because it's reaching the end of the tape, it slows down the motor. If it's running very slow, because it's all the way at the beginning of the tape, and there is basically no tape at all on this reel, it speeds it up. So that's quite an interesting setup. You can't really notice much of a difference as it slows down. Well, maybe we can. It is approaching the end of the tape. Let's see if we can just hear the difference in noise. Yeah, I think you heard that. The frequency did get lower that the motor was making, so it did slow down. So I'm gonna, run this thing for another while, and then I'm going to put it back together, hopefully for the last time. This is a nice chance to show it. This is how the auto stop works on this unit, as well as on many other VCRs, including VHS machines. We got this thing in the middle. That is an infrared diode, and that emits light to both sides, and then we got infrared pickup sensors on either side. There is one right there, and then another one over here on the circuit board right there. And the sensor goes into the cassette through the hole in the middle, the big hole, and it can shine all the way through, because at the side you can see, if only this was going to focus, there is this hole in the cassette right there. That's where it comes back through and goes into the sensor. And you know, normally when there is a magnetic tape, it's not going to come through. There is no light going to get through. If it reaches the transparent leader tape, as soon as it unwinds that, it stops the tape. So that's quite a nice design, because that means that the tape is never going to run all the way to the end. So it's never going to rip out of the spool.